7 in the morning, on a gravel loop road in Iowa. Flower beds, a flag on a porch. A woman drinks coffee on the steps of a home she owns outright, paid off years ago, on a street where everyone waves. It looks like the most secure version of American life there is. Then the mail comes. The rent on the ground under her paid-off house is going up, and she will pay it. Not because of the money, because of physics. To understand what just happened on that porch, you have to stand on the other side of the letter. You have to own the park. Somewhere between 40 and 50,000 of these communities exist across the United States. Yours is 100 pads on 20 acres outside a mid-sized city. Walk it and take inventory of what you now hold. The dirt, the gravel roads, the water lines under the roads, the sewer lines under those, and a tool shed with a window unit. Now inventory what you do not own. The residents own those, and most own them outright. Your tenants are homeowners. That sounds like a contradiction. It is actually the entire business, because a person who owns their walls and their roof still has to put them somewhere, and that somewhere is yours. For it, they pay you lot rent, $250 to $400 a month at a family-run park in the countryside. The obvious response is that this is just being a landlord with extra steps. It is the opposite of being a landlord. A landlord owns the building, and the building is where the money goes to die. Roofs, furnaces, water heaters, carpet, the eternal clogged toilet at midnight. You own none of that. Run your park's numbers out loud. 100 pads at $350. That is $35,000 a month. $420,000 a year. Now the expenses. An apartment owner grossing that same $420,000 loses roughly half of it. You lose about a third, and turnover barely exists for you at all. When a resident leaves, they sell the home where it stands. The next owner arrives on the same pad, at the same rent, and your make-ready cost is zero. Your list is short. Water and sewer, usually your biggest line. So out of $420,000, somewhere around $270 to $290 survives as net income. The apartment owner keeps closer to $210, $60 to $80,000 a year of difference. It is who owns the depreciation. Every other landlord owns the part that wears out. You own the part that doesn't. A margin like that gets competed away. Customers shop, rivals build, prices fall. So why, for 40 years, hasn't it happened here? Put down the deed and pick up the coffee. You are back on the porch now, holding the letter, and you own a 1990s single-wide, paid off, worth about $4,000. Moving a single-wide costs $1,000 to $5,000 for transport alone. Full service, $5,000 to $8,000. A double-wide has to be cut in half, hauled in 2 loads with escort vehicles, and stitched back together. $8,000 to $15,000. Read that against the value of your house. The move costs more than the home is worth, and that assumes you have somewhere to go. Parks nearby run over 90% full. Many will not accept a home older than 20 years. Anything built before the 1976 Federal Construction Code is barred nearly everywhere. $60 more a month, $720 a year. Against an $8,000 move to a pad that may not exist. You stay. Anyone would. Critics call this a captive market. Owners call it demand for a scarce product. Both are describing the same arithmetic. The scarcity is not an accident. It is written into municipal code. Most parks in America were built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Since then, new construction has run close to zero, because nearly every city council in the country either bans new parks outright or zones no land where one could legally go. The obvious question is why nobody just builds more, the way developers answer every other housing shortage. The answer is they are not allowed to, and where they are allowed to, the land math kills them. Your 100 pads gross $420,000 a year. 200 apartments on the same 20 acres would gross 10 times that. The same math runs in reverse on the parks that already exist. California alone has closed more than 500 of them in 30 years. Nobody is making more of these because making more of them is illegal. Fixed supply. Customers who cannot leave. Competitors who cannot build. In most industries, that combination summons antitrust lawyers. In real estate, it summoned capital. Equity Lifestyle Properties controls around 200,000 sites. Berkshire Hathaway owns Clayton Homes, the biggest builder of the homes themselves. And below the giants, hundreds of smaller funds spent the last decade doing the same deal, over and over. Call it a composite. Every number in it comes from real transactions. Before, a 100-pad park outside a mid-sized Midwestern city, built in 1968. Lot rent is $280 because the owner is 78, he knows every tenant by name, and he has not raised it since his wife died. The roads have potholes. The books are a spiral notebook. Rents like his sit 20 to 40% under market. In 2021, he sells for $2.4 million, $24,000 a pad. The new people are an LLC 2 states away. Within 90 days, a letter. Within 18 months, rent is $390, and water bills arrive separately for the first time because the park has been sub-metered. After, the monthly cost of staying is up around 40%. The potholes are patched. Not one resident has moved out. The rent is still below any apartment in town. The residents still cannot leave. Both of those facts are true at once. On the buyer's spreadsheet, the deal performed perfectly, so the fund refinanced on the higher income and went to find the next spiral notebook. The spreadsheet and the mailbox are describing the same event. 20 million people live in housing that cannot legally be built, cannot be replaced, and cannot realistically be left. That is a choke point in the American housing system, and it is privately owned. Parks that traded at 8 to 10% cap rates a decade ago now trade at 4 to 6. At those prices, there is no margin of safety left. Buy a 1960s park and you inherit 1960s pipes. 8 months in, the sewer main fails under the north row of a 60-pad park, and you learn what the seller's price was really made of. One bad main can eat a year of net income. If the seller left you 30 park-owned rentals, you are running a low-rise apartment business in disguise. You are not buying the income, you are buying the previous owner's deferred bills at a markup. The second kind of trouble is statutory. California and New York, among others, apply rent stabilization to parks. Roughly 20 states hand residents rights the moment a park goes up for sale. Many banks will not lend on parks at all. Everyone else gets a local bank or the seller's own note, and nothing else. The third kind of trouble arrives from outside. Manufactured homes concentrate storm damage, and some coastal parks can no longer be insured at any workable price. Then there is the exit you are counting on. Surely if it goes wrong, you sell. To whom? Your buyer faces the same financing wall you did, minus the seller note, because that seller is now you. Cheap parks are cheap because the work is the price, and the work does not transfer at closing. It waits for you. If you still want in, the realistic first deal is small, 20 to 60 pads, $500,000 to $2.5 million, which at 20 to 30% down means $100,000 to $400,000 of your own capital. Your best path runs through sellers like the man with the spiral notebook. He is past retirement age. A cash sale means a heavy capital gains bill, and carrying your note defers the tax while paying him interest. The passive road is a syndication at $25,000 to $100,000 minimum, where you inherit the operator's competence and the operator's ethics. And once the ground is yours, it earns beyond the rent. A cell carrier pays $1,000 to $3,000 a month for the hill. Billboards pay $2,000 to $20,000 a year for the frontage. In 2019, a fund called Haven Park bought a park in Iowa and announced rent increases approaching 70%. Many of the residents were retirees on fixed incomes, and they did the one thing the arithmetic left them. They organized. Town halls filled. The story went national. The fund's answer was that rents had sat far below market for years, and by the numbers, that was true. The residents' answer was that the market they were being marked to was one they physically could not exit, and that was true too. State legislators drafted protections. The same spring, John Oliver spent a full segment on mobile home investors, the boot camps, the pitch decks, a seminar line comparing residents to diners chained to their booths. Every acquisition since has carried that shadow. The mechanics did not change that year. The visibility did, permanently. California shows the other ending. When a park closes there, the relocation notice is the end of the arithmetic. The homes cannot move, so the residents leave them behind. In Palo Alto, one park's residents fought it. Buena Vista, 400 people sitting on land worth tens of millions a few miles from Stanford. The residents spent 5 years in hearings, and in the end, the county, the city, and a nonprofit put up roughly $40 million and bought the ground itself. The homes never moved an inch. Only the ownership did, and that turned out to be the entire fight. Which is the third story, and the quietest. In 1984, residents of a park in Meredith, New Hampshire learned their park was for sale. They borrowed through a community loan fund and bought the ground under their own homes. It worked. Today, more than 300 parks are resident-owned cooperatives. Rent increases still happen in them. The difference is, the residents vote on their own increases to fund their own pipes. Same land, same math. The margin that used to leave the park every month now stays on the loop road. Every park in America changes hands eventually. The owner ages, the fund refinances, or the residents organize, and the ground passes to whoever moved first. The homes were never mobile. The money always was. The only open question is where it finally settles and who is standing on it.